I began this week speaking commemorating the hostages who were taken on October the 7th. I see no contradiction in ending by recognising the horror of the humanitarian situation within Gaza. And I think it's important to put on record that people in Gaza do not choose to be ruled by Hamas. There was a poll published last month which showed that 2/3 of people in Gaza support a two-state solution, not the destruction of Israel, and only 6% support Hamas. But I wanted, in the short time I've got, to ask the Minister to reflect on three particular things. First of all, in a deeply uncertain environment, we know one thing, which is that winter's coming. It's about to get colder, it's about to get wetter. And we know that with the lower immunity that people have due to malnutrition, particularly for children, that means an increased risk of respiratory diseases, of diarrhoea and other common diseases. And so along with others, I'd like to ask the Minister what more he can do to make sure that more shelter and more hygiene kits are allowed through and reach those who need it. Secondly, and looking beyond the ceasefire we all want to see happen, I want to talk about the long tail of food insecurity within Gaza. Dozens of bakeries have been destroyed. About 2/3 of agricultural land has been damaged in some way. The fields, the greenhouses, the polytunnels, the irrigation systems have been damaged. And the plan for the day after has to start now. So I wonder what plans the government has to ensure that horticulture, livestock farming, fishing are restored, that the bakeries are rebuilt and the markets are rebuilt, because otherwise this isn't going to be a short-term emergency but a long-term problem. And then finally on reconstruction. After the 2014 Gaza war, there were generous pledges made by international donors for reconstruction. In some cases, the funds pledged just simply didn't come through. In many cases, attempts to reconstruct were blocked by the Israeli government. And in other cases, for example, Fatah accused Hamas of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars of reconstruction aid as well. In 2014, about 150,000 properties were damaged in some way. In this war, it's far outstripped that. And so I wonder what he can do, working with international partners, to make sure that the failures after the last 2014 war in Gaza are not repeated.
Thank you. To get the last speaker in, Barr Matthews.